There's a pretty tremendous amount of concern right now regarding the PlayStation 5, more so with COVID-19 as a whole, but gamers automatically flocked towards the PlayStation 5 and wondered if that was gonna get a delay, if the Xbox Series X is gonna get a delay. Obviously, in the grand scheme of things regarding this virus, this is probably the most minuscule thing. However, we are a gaming channel, so I like to bring you guys the gaming news, and PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, maybe both, might be delayed due to COVID-19, says DFC. We'll take a look at all of that. Regarding PlayStation 5, we also have some more positive information. A futuristic PlayStation 5 patent teases a major controller update, but there is a catch as detailed by Inverse, and also we've got another patent that Sony is testing accessibility features for visually impaired players, and that would be a very, very nice addition. We'll talk that at the end of this video. Obviously, unless you guys are living under a rock, you know what's going on in the world right now. You know how tumultuous of a time this is for certain people, certain areas, of course, and I don't really want to focus on that. We're a gaming channel, so I want to bring you guys the gaming news. However, due to the virus, according to DFC intelligence, there's a very real chance that one or both of the next generation consoles from Sony and Microsoft, the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, will miss their scheduled holiday 2020 release window due to supply chain issues caused by COVID-19. Noting coronavirus is likely to have a major short-term impact on the delivery of both systems. There is a strong likelihood one or both systems will not make a 2020 launch. If the systems do launch, supply will likely be constrained and initial pricing could be higher than expected. I have been saying this for the last week or so when this has really been coming to the fruition, and people have really realized that this is going to be an impact towards manufacturing of both of these consoles, that there's a good chance that both consoles are going to come out this holiday. However, you are kidding yourself if you think that manufacturing isn't going to be impacted in some way, and if they are released this holiday, which I think Sony is going to try everything in their power to make sure that happens, as is Microsoft, but ultimately there is going to be a bunch of hurdles that they have to go over, and that is going to make a lot of the supply, or a lot of the expected supply, just not available. So the supply that is going to be there, it's going to be very limited, and the pricing could be a lot higher, and even more doubly so. What's gonna happen is, with a limited supply, there's gonna be some price gouging going on. Look, if people are gonna price gouge hand sanitizer, you know they're gonna price gouge the PlayStation 5. They're gonna price that thing up to, over $1,000. I perfectly can see that happening. I remember what happened with the Nintendo Wii. I remember what happened with everything else in gaming when, in regards to low supply or whatever the case may be, especially a new console where the hype is crazy high. People are gonna buy it up and people are gonna resell it on eBay. I can already see it happening, and that is so depressing that some people are gonna be forced to go on eBay if they want to launch PlayStation 5, and they're gonna have to pay an astronomical amount of money. Even so, if the supply is gonna be limited, Sony from the get-go can be like, okay, we can't do a $500 price point, let's move the consoles we can make, and let's move them at a higher price point, because if we only have a limited amount of supply, the demand is going to be ridiculously high. We might as well move it at a little bit of a higher price. Whatever the case may be, the economy right now is in an unprecedented state of uncertainty. Even if the situation clears up in a few weeks, the ability to manufacture and release a high-end new game system has already been severely impacted, and you know that this is going to be something that we do feel the effects of for quite a while. Maybe it's not going to be something that drastically alters the economy for 10 to 15 years, but for the rest of 2020, things are going to be a little bit different. Even if best case scenario by the summertime this dies down, if you're talking about a 3-4 month window where things have been impacted, that's gonna have long-lasting effects heading into the holiday. You're kidding yourself if you don't think that's gonna be the case, especially in regards to a big budget console release like this. Again, they might be able to get it out the door before the end of the year, but I think best case scenario, we are gonna look at limited supply. We are looking at maybe a higher price point, and we are looking at price gouging being a real thing, especially on secondhand sellers on eBay, whatever the case may be. It's not all doom and gloom, however. The latest DFC intelligence report for Sony and Microsoft, as the research firm agrees with IHS Markets peers handing roles, that consumer demand should be stronger than ever whenever they launch, but that is a bad thing coupled with the limited supply, so I don't know, you have to take that with how you will. The good news is that consumer demand is likely to be stronger than ever. Demand will far exceed supply, and long term that could increase overall sales, because whenever an item a consumer-based item has that air of, oh, everybody's buying it. You guys know FOMO, fear of missing out. That just heightens the overall anticipation, the overall demand, whatever the case may be. It just adds that air of excitement around a product. And I know we're talking about the excitement regarding a gaming product at a time of complete disaster. However, you still have to look at some of the positive things in life, like next-generation consoles. In addition, the abundance of government and public caution should help assure that there is a comparatively short-term crisis. Both the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X will release to record consumer demand. The challenge Sony and Microsoft face is making sure they release systems that meet expectations. Given the current situation, waiting to make sure they get the initial product right is the most prudent choice. So I think people will be very, very disappointed if both of the next-gen consoles don't come out by the end of 2020. Look, we're accustomed to game delays, generational delays. I don't know about that one. I don't think we've seen that before. I don't recall a PlayStation platform seeing a significant delay. I think people would be devastated by that, but hey, this is an unprecedented situation regardless. Who could have predicted something like this a couple months ago? And I know, pop out the tinfoil hats or whatever the case may be. I already see it on social media and whatever. We predicted this 6-7 months ago. We predicted this in 2008. Whatever the case may be. I am saying the majority of people did not see this coming. I'm sure Sony didn't see this coming when they started to think of the holiday 2020 release window, and I don't think they had any intention of delaying the PlayStation 5 from a standpoint of, oh, the console isn't going to be up to snuff. Oh, we're not going to have the right games available. Whatever. There's a lot of planning that goes into a console release, more so than even getting a game out on a specific release date. And I highly doubt Sony had any intention of delaying the console. Whatever the case may be, let's just hope it comes out later in 2020. Hey, best case scenario, nothing even happens. The consoles just come out, they're priced what they're going to be priced at. Supply is decent. I'm sure that demand is going to far exceed it. I think that's something that would have happened even if COVID-19 wasn't a thing. COVID-19 wasn't a thing. I think demand is still going to be crazy. I think that demand is just going to be heightened now, and it might be a complete S-show come fall of 2020, or maybe they'll even delay it into early 2021. Either way, things are definitely going to take a decent bit of a shift in regards to releasing the next generation consoles. Alright, moving on from that, futuristic PlayStation 5 patent teases a major controller update, but there is a catch. This is coming from Inverse.com. The Dualshock 5 is looking more futuristic by the day, and it notes a Sony patent filed to the US Patent and Trademark Office on Thursday teased that the Dualshock 5 will come with a detachable touchscreen that can be placed over its touchpad. The document explains that the display could be used to provide tactile feedback for special in-game actions and display text like menus that players can access without having to pause the game they're playing. There's a snippet from the patent as well, and it explains the game's controller enables a user to interact with content that is being displayed via the information process apparatus. Often this content will include textual information that a user must read. In some cases, this may correspond to a system menu where, for example, a user can view and configure various settings relating to the information processing apparatus. That sounds rather interesting. This could help gamers inspect a map without having to constantly cut the flow of their gameplay, but adding a screen to a wireless controller could severely affect its battery life, so that's something to take into account as well. And that could mean if PlayStation 5 users want to use the touchscreen, they need to spend more time with their controller tethered to the console to make sure it doesn't run out of power in the middle of a boss fight. Whatever the case may be, the PlayStation 5 controller, from its haptic feedback to patents like this being filed, it's obvious that while they're keeping the fundamental and the design of the PlayStation controller intact, the DualShock controller just works from a design standpoint. Under the hood, they are definitely making some improvements, and controller improvements definitely isn't going to be something that's promoted and people are going to take into account right away. But I do feel like with the PlayStation 5, what you're going to see is a lot more under the hood improvements that aren't going to be as easily marketable. Look, with a new console, the easiest thing to market is, you guessed it, the visuals, the graphics, everything like that. Super easy to market to the casuals. Things like haptic feedback, things like better audio. That's not going to be something that's going to be all over the commercials and people are just going to eat up and be like, that's why I need to buy a PlayStation 5. However, to engage consumers, to make the PlayStation 5 overall a more compelling platform, to when one of your buddy comes over and they see you have the PS5, you turn it on and they experience all of these different features, the haptic feedback, the better audio, if this is actually going to be a real thing, well, that all comes together, creating a more engaging experience, and then your buddy is going to be like, holy crap, I need to buy the PlayStation 5, and it's because of all of these features that they are introducing, so it's always something to take into account. Even if you can't directly quantify the impact that it's going to have right away in terms of campaigns, promotional marketing, whatever the case may be on that, there's a lot of other benefits that it can contribute to. Alright, lastly, I do want to note that Dualshock patent reveals Sony's testing accessibility features for visually impaired players, which I think is awesome. The more we can make gaming accessible to more people, that is always going to be a great thing. As more and more video game companies strive to add accessibility features to their games and hardware, Sony Interactive Entertainment is testing a controller attachment that could help visually impaired players through tactile feedback and a new system. The patent, which was first filed last year but recently discovered by Restera user Anexhume, sorry if I butchered your name, shows a rectangular pad attachment that is described as follows. The portable device comprises a communication interface not shown operable to receive text information. The text information may be received from an information processing apparatus. In some examples, the text information may be received from a game's controller that is in communication with the information processing apparatus and to which the portable device is connected. The game's controller acting as receiver and relay, the text information may be generated as a result of the information processing apparatus executing a game program. As described previously, the text information may correspond system menus, in-game text, etc. The patent further states that the pad will give players tactile feedback via vibrations and other ways. In some cases, in-game text may generate on the pad. Using the example of the Huldra shop in God of War, Sony argues that text-to-speech and zooming features are inadequate for visually impaired players and that the portable pad will be able to generate tactile version of not just text but also symbols such as runes, arrows, game-specific shapes, etc. Again, if we can find ways to make gaming more accessible to an audience where it hasn't been as accessible to in the past, that's a great thing. Accessibility is important in regards to any entertainment medium, and Sony being able to do that with the PS5, that would be a great thing. So that's going to conclude this video. Again, a lot of PlayStation 5 talk. I know I'm rambling a lot in regards to the release of this holiday, but I just want you guys to be prepared. If you're of the mindset that you want a PS5 this holiday, also be of the mindset that you either got to pre-order it right away or you're in for a fight on launch day because there's going to be a limited supply available or it's going to get delayed outright out of 2020. We're in unprecedented times right now, and how this ultimately shakes out is going to be something we're going to monitor over the course of the next 3 or so months. Futuristic PS5 patent teases a major controller update. We'll keep an eye on that, and Sony's also testing accessibility features for visually impaired. That's going to conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.